Hello everyone, it's May 13th, 2020, and this is St. Mark's at Midweek. I'm Matt Wright, and after we visit with Pastor Carey, we're going to share a wonderful piece written and reported by Lucy Grindon, who interviewed 9 young men and women, all members of the class of 2020, to find out what they're thinking at this pivotal moment in their lives. Much like the story we ran recently on our 90-year-old members, this one is also an eye-opener and a chance to hear firsthand from young people whose futures are so affected by these times. But first, our pastor, the Reverend Carey Patterson Grindon, is here for a quick update. Hi, Carey.
Hi, Matt.
What's going on this week?
You know, I have, with some trepidation, re-entered the Facebook world. Seems like the right thing in this moment. And I'm so glad because I saw the greatest thing ever.
Well, there are a lot of claims for greatness on Facebook. Let's hear your vote.
I'm putting my greatest thing ever on Facebook entry in now. And it was the portrait of Jake Rutt in his graduation robe and cap, surrounded by his family, Rosella, Mary, and Tim.
I agree.
I win.
You win.
I win the prize.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was the most joyful, beautiful photograph in these tough times. What a joy to see. I mean, all 4 of their faces radiant, and to know the love and the care and the hard work that Jake has put in and that family has put in to get him to that moment.
Yeah.
You could read it, the pride and the joy in their faces, and it just, my heart just filled up.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really amazing.
It's just gorgeous, and I just think it's all the more beautiful because what a tough year to be a graduate, you know?
Yeah.
Our 6th graders, our 8th graders, our 12th graders, our college graduates at St. Mark's, but, you know, writ large, are having to put things on hold or give things up. And I'm just amazed at the resilience and the courage and the grace with which all of these young people are navigating this time. It's inspirational,
yeah,
totally.
It's really, really impressive. We have a graduate here at our house who's helping us record this podcast right now.
Yeah.
And another graduate, a recent graduate in your house,
yeah,
who put together a wonderful piece. Lucy went out to talk to our St. Mark's graduates. And Lucy's piece is just amazing, and it's a wonderful opportunity to hear what these young adults and young people are really thinking in this very difficult time.
Yeah.
So let's listen to that, and I will talk to you next week.
Thanks, Matt.
I'm Lucy Grindon. This year, schools and universities suspended in-person classes early in an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Many transitioned to online classes, but the final months of the school year were strange and solitary for students and teachers alike. For those in their final years of their respective schools, the differences between expectation and reality were particularly acute, as graduation ceremonies and other traditions were postponed or canceled. This week, I interviewed 9 graduating students from the St. Mark's community about their experiences over the past weeks and months. Here's what they had to say.
I'm Katie Bass. I'm in 6th grade and I'm graduating from St. Mark's.
How has the end of this school year been different from other school years for you in general?
Well, very different because, one second we were in school and then the next we were at home online every day. It's definitely been strange and new, but as we went through it, it's been getting easier.
Just one more time, what percentage of people would you say are in every class that you have online?
Probably like 99%. There might have been one class where a kid didn't come, but most of the time, yeah, everybody makes it.
That's good. How have you been staying connected with your friends? Are you connecting with them somehow via online school, or is it mostly just texting or social media?
Well, the teachers, we have a thing called morning meeting. So in the morning, they allow us to talk not only to the teachers, but just to each other to kind of bond like we usually would. But then also we communicate outside of school with FaceTime, or they allow us to also use our Zoom to talk.
Oh, cool. That's great. Kay Bass graduates from St. Mark's this spring.
My name is Jacob McKinney, and I'm graduating from the University of Puget Sound.
I wanted to ask you, how do you think the unique collective experience you've had this year will shape you and your classmates?
I think it's going to be a little bit sad to look back on a lot of the things we missed out on, a lot of the kind of milestones that come at this point in our lives. But also, I think a lot of us are grateful for kind of the time that we've gotten to spend together, especially like me and my housemates. We've all kind of commented about how it's time that we certainly would not have spent together, given all of our extracurriculars and the fact that we were seniors and all pretty involved in campus life. So it's been, kind of a blessing and a curse that we've gotten to spend so much quality time together as we prepare for this transition into the next part of our lives.
Jacob McKinney graduates from the University of Puget Sound this spring.
Sophia Ramirez, a senior and Polytechnic High School.
I want to ask you first, how do you feel the experience of having your last few weeks of high school classes online has impacted your education?
Well, I think my curriculum was sort of coming to an end, and our school doesn't have finals for seniors. You have to take the AP, but you don't take finals. So in terms of like the education part, I didn't really feel like I was missing out on that much. It was more just like final projects and little like culminating assignments and things.
Were you working on a final project?
Yeah, so I'm part of this separate sort of program at my school called Global Scholars, which isn't really a class, but you have to do a capstone project. And my project was canceled. It was like a symposium, and it was canceled right after sort of the coronavirus outbreak. So
wow.
I had to sort of start from scratch and come up with something entirely new.
Can I ask what your specific topic of research was?
Yeah, so, before we crossed the border, we went to Chicano National Park. It's technically like a national monument, and so I'm really discussing the history and culture behind that area, and that's in San Diego, and then sort of just like the power of murals and what that means. Yeah.
Wow. How are you feeling about starting college in the fall?
Well, assuming they start the year in the fall, I'm definitely nervous, mostly because before leaving or before this coronavirus, our school did a really sort of good job in the past years of preparing seniors for like the future, and I felt like hearing from seniors before that that students really get this like important and nice like finish to their education at Poly, and since now like it feels very like unsettling just because it never really ended in the right way. I'm nervous that going into college I'm not going to have the same excitement because I'll still be like reminiscing on high school.
Sophia Ramirez graduates from Polytechnic School this spring.
My name is Katya Simonson. I am in 8th grade, and I'm graduating from AGLA, Avison Charter School.
I'm Maggie Arnson Samoa. I am in 8th grade, and I'm graduating from AGLA. So are you both still in online school? Do you still have classes, or has summer started? And how is it going? Do you think that the online school is going well? Do you feel like you're learning, or what do you think, Maggie?
Well, in my perspective, it's definitely harder since I'm so used to like going in class and like getting everything done there. And since our school is so focused on a one-on-one connection with the teacher and the student, having that like connection that you can't having it just at home, like online, it's just difficult and it's hard. It's hard to get different. Yeah.
What are some of your hopes for this summer? Like, what are some of the things that you hope might be able to happen?
Friends. Hands down, friends. It was just surprising to us when we went from being annoyed by all of like friends and how they're picking on us, and now how bad we need them to like just be in our lives. Like I'm so looking forward to seeing them and just like to have their annoying presence near me. So yeah.
Maggie and Katya are graduating from AGLA this spring.
My name's Stuart Sessions. I'm a senior at Polytechnic School.
Do you think you're learning as much as you would be at school?
I definitely think it has had a negative impact. Yeah, I definitely don't think I'm learning as much as at school. Like when you have people in a classroom setting, it's much easier to pay attention. There's fewer distractions, and teachers kind of have their comfortable lesson plans. But since we've moved online, a lot of the discussion-based classes can't really meet like the same frequency as they do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the classes that rely on lecturing, like the sciences or maths, just don't have the same time to lecture. So it's been difficult for them to adjust, but I think they're doing a good job of it right now.
How has it impacted your plans for the fall? Are you still thinking everything's going to go forward as normal?
I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to start college that I got into, and they're like just giving some ideas that they might start later in the fall, or they might like move one of their semesters to the summer instead. And so of course I thought about a gap year with my parents, because online learning is not as effective as in-class learning. Mm-hmm. But maybe they'll figure something out. One of the big problems I was having with taking a gap year is that, if I was taking a gap year, I'd want to do something like to get real experience, or do something that I wouldn't be able to do if I was just going to college. And I think the problem is, even with the virus, like there's nothing really to do during the gap year that I could think of that I thought I would benefit from that much.
Stuart Sessions graduates this spring from Polytechnic School in Pasadena.
My name is Jacob Rutt. I'm in 12th grade at Frostig School.
So tell me what the end of this school year has been like for you.
I mean, I'm sad to not see my friends and stuff.
Yeah. How have the online classes been going?
They've been going okay.
Do you feel like you're learning as much as you would be ordinarily, or has it kind of been impaired by the fact that
it's been kind of impaired?
Can you tell me more about what the online classes have been like?
Been like doing assignments online and stuff.
What are some of the assignments that you've had to do online in the past week, for example?
I had to do some government assignments.
What have you been doing with your family since in-person classes have ended? What kinds of things have you been doing to keep yourself busy when you're not doing schoolwork?
Just like mostly staying at home and only going out for walks and to go to my weekly appointment.
I wanted to ask you, what impact or what effect do you think the collective experience of sort of not having school in person for the last couple of months of senior year will have on the graduating high school class of 2020?
I'm not sure. Maybe it'll teach them how to be a better person and how to get along better.
Why do you think?
Because they have more time with family.
I've heard some suggestions made about the possibility of recreating certain end-of-year ceremonies like graduations or other events in the future when this crisis is sort of abated. Is that something that you would want? And if so, what would you imagine that would look like?
It's actually going to happen. Like there's going to be a car parade at every senior's house.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. So are you planning to drive to other people's houses? Is that the plan? Wow, that'll be great. Jacob Rutt graduates from the Frostick School this spring.
I'm Jamie Gallo, and I'm a senior at Westridge School for Girls.
What impact do you think the experience of having your senior year or your last year at your school cut short is going to have on your class as a whole, on the class of 2020?
It's forced us to bond in unconventional ways, which I think is really cool.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we started a class group me like, I don't know if it was at the beginning of this year or like midway through this year, but that's something that we had never had before. So it was a way for like literally the entire class to be connected and to always talk to each other. But we've been using that a lot more now. It's like we've realized that like we want to celebrate each other, which is a really beautiful thing because we can't do that in person. Just little things like that, or like people actually showing up to like Zoom grade meetings because we want to see each other, rather than like if it's a class meeting at school, some people would ditch. Like just something funny like that, where it's like things have changed a bit and we're a bit more motivated to be connected with each other.
How have you been celebrating each other online?
Well, we made a Westridge 2020 Instagram, which is something that a lot of schools have done. And that's cute. I think it was lovely that it was motivated by the students. It wasn't like the Westridge Instagram was like, you guys should make this, or like any administrators. It was like, we want to celebrate each other. And I kind of hate for things to be so revolved around social media, but in this time it's kind of how it is. So like it's really beautiful to see like people who aren't even friends with the person who's like being posted about, they're commenting, saying congrats, which is really special. Yeah.
Jamie Gallo graduates this spring from Westridge.
I'm Nick Bass, and I'm graduating from the University of Denver.
What were the last couple of days when you still had classes like on campus with your friends?
It was right before finals week, so kind of social isolation anyways. Study.
Did you find some way with your friends to kind of mark the end of being together on the campus, or was it sort of so sudden that you didn't have time for that?
Yeah, it was pretty sudden. Like there were some of my friends like didn't have finals, and so a lot of kids had already gone off and were on like spring break already. Like a lot of kids went skiing and stuff. I was like one of the few people that was still in Denver, and so I got a couple friends together and we hung out a couple times, but I don't think we realized that this was going to be permanent. And so yeah, no, there wasn't really any formal goodbye.
What's one of the like craziest things that's happened in your living situation since everything ended? You mentioned that you've been going back and forth trying to kind of get all your stuff together. It was kind of living with roommates, and some people were taking coronavirus that seriously. I had one roommate who was flying internationally, domestically, multiple times, like going through almost 10 airports in 2 weeks. And wow.
Like, I've been going back and forth trying to get my stuff out because it's been kind of like uncertain as to whether he's going to come in and break quarantine. So that's been like the most hectic thing, is trying to like navigate my health and safety and the health and safety of my roommates with other people who maybe, like one of my roommates is taking it extremely seriously because his family members have pre-existing conditions where like this could be very dangerous for them. And then I have another roommate who thinks like, I'm going to do what I want and I don't really care if I endanger you. So that's been, I don't know, that's been the craziest thing.
Nicholas Bass graduates from the University of Denver this spring.
Hi, I'm Emily Wright. I just graduated from the University of Redlands as a theater arts major.
So Emily, tell me about the end of the school year for you. How much of it was sort of cut off, and how much advance notice did you have?
It was really fast, and we had about 4 weeks cut off of school. So the last month, it just really happened all of a sudden. And, not a lot of time to process things. It just every update was coming up like every hour. You never quite knew where you were going to stand from hour to hour. You just sort of had to stay there and hold your breath until somebody told you what was going on.
So the class of 2020's experience has been unlike that of any graduating class in the last 100 years. How do you think this experience will impact your class or shape you as you keep growing?
I think that it's going to make us more anxious, sort of overall, because a lot of classes graduate from college and they know what they're going to do, and they have a job that's lined up, or they have, certain career paths that they can take, or certain, stepping stones that they can sort of start jumping on immediately. And since nobody's really hiring anymore, lots of jobs are going away, industries are changing, we're all working from home, it's going to be difficult for us to sort of get that started, because not only are we starting at 0, we are starting at like -50. We don't even have the benefit of 0, right. Because, at least at 0, there's a promise of things to go forward. And now we sort of have to try and search for that.
So given that so many of those events were canceled, including the traditional graduation itself, what do you think about suggestions to recreate traditional college graduation ceremonies after this crisis has abated? Is that something you would want?
I think that it's something that's worth exploring, because this is such a huge thing that you sort of build up to your entire school career. And you spend 4 years pulling all kinds of late nights, working on late projects and doing all kinds of really big things. And this is sort of the last big thing that we all universally do. That's a big celebration of our accomplishments, and all of our friends are surrounded in one place, because you don't really get something like that, in your job or something like that, unless, you've been working in a certain industry for 50 years and like all of a sudden you're a legend. Like then you might get your own celebration. But I think, it's something that people work hard towards, and something that people really deserve to have.
Emily Wright graduated this spring from the University of Redlands.
I asked 2 final questions to every person I interviewed. The first was, what's been the hardest thing for you to miss in the past few months?
I just miss going to school and seeing other people. I mean, I love my family, but I miss my friends, I miss my teachers, I miss life outside of the house.
I think I'd probably say acquaintances, because like all the people who are immediately around me are like my really close friends, but there's a lot of people who I'm less close with but still very fond of, and all those relationships kind of got swiped off the table immediately once quarantine started.
I think my high school experience, the first 2 years, like with most people, I really didn't know what was going on, and I think I was just going through the motions and not really doing things that I was interested in, and I was sort of like living in my own head, so I didn't really take responsibility for my actions or anything. And towards the last 2 years of high school, and especially my senior year, I felt like I really came into myself as a student and as a person and a friend. And so I think I felt a little robbed of that progress, because like the level of closeness that you have with your friends changes, and academically I'm not motivated really anymore, and I think I just miss this upward trajectory that I was going on.
Freedom.
Maggie, how about you?
Friends. I gotta go with friends again. I can't let go of the thought of them. So
I right now I have like 2 different worlds. There's like my friends who I go camping with, who I like am a scout with, and then there's my friends who I see at school. And the reason I like the outdoor education trip so much is that it's kind of like the 2 worlds colliding, and I get to see my friends outside in an environment that they're not comfortable with. And I have so much fun on them, because usually I'm comfortable on them, so it's just fun for me. But I was definitely looking forward to having a fun senior trip, because everyone talks about it, but they had to cancel it because of the coronavirus.
Been missing school events.
Is there one event in particular that you missed a lot?
The actual prom, which was supposed to be on the 24th of April.
I think the thing that I really realized that I was missing and that I was sad about is probably chalk day at Westridge. That was, and like just like that moment of standing in a circle with everybody and holding hands and looking around and seeing all of your classmates. I'm sad that we couldn't have that.
When they canceled the ski season, I hate to not with that. But I got a lot of days in before that, so that wasn't too horrible.
The hardest thing to go without is community, and the community that I've built with my theater family and the community that I had at Redlands. I don't have that anymore, so that's very difficult.
And the second was, what's one positive thing to have come out of this experience for you?
It brings out how much I really enjoy going to school and how much I enjoy being in my companion's company.
Yeah, like I said, I think I would reiterate the quality time with people I actually really care about. It's been, like I said, it's been really fun. Like, we've really been making the best out of a weird situation.
Right.
And finding ways to laugh and spend time together. So.
Well, I would say we grew a lot closer than we already were.
Maggie, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we got close. I mean, being quarantined was something closer to get closer.
This year at school, things have been really fast-paced, and sort of towards the beginning of spring and end of winter, I had been spending a lot of time out of my house and, coming home really late and not seeing my parents during the week just because everybody would be doing different things.
Appreciation. That I don't have to walk as far as I normally do at school.
I think honestly for me, because I have a pretty good connection and relationship with my parents, it's really lovely to spend time with them on most days. Yeah, I think I'm learning to appreciate my house and my parents and also just my neighborhood more.
A few, I think fall quarter, I joined this group called Ratio et Fides, which means ration faith. And so that got me thinking a lot about my faith and rationality and philosophy and all that. And so I've had more time now to read. I've been reading C.S. Lewis a fair amount, and some of Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. And I don't think I would have had the time to do that.
There's a phrase that you often hear attributed to Mr. Rogers, and it sort of pops up every time there's a big disaster of any kind. And he says, always look out for the helpers, because wherever you go, you will always see people helping.
Thanks again to Katie Bass, Jacob McKinney, Sophia Ramirez, Maggie Arnton-Samoa, Katya Simonson, Stuart Sessions, Jake Rutt, Jamie Gallo, Nick Bass, and Emily Wright. And congratulations to all the graduating students in the St. Mark's community. I'm Lucy Grindon.
Thanks for being with us today. Thanks to our graduates and our associate producer, Emily Wright, for producing and editing the piece on the class of 2020. Another update from St. Mark's next Wednesday and our regular worship podcast on Sunday. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and be good to each other. I'm Matt Wright.